Hi, I'm Brittany Allyn, and welcome to Savor the Flavors. Recently, I attended a Cajun Fest event at a local winery, and while I was there, it occurred to me that I have yet to share this recipe with you. It's a great stovetop recipe for any time. Comfort food with a kick. Today, we're making jambalaya. I've already got our jambalaya underway. I started by cooking some smoked pork sausage. It's a very spicy sausage called andouille, which you'll find so often in Creole and Cajun dishes. Now earlier I just sliced 8 ounces of it very thin, and then I put a teaspoon of olive oil in this pot and then added the sausage, and I'm just cooking it off. And now the fat that is rendered from the sausage along with the olive oil we'll use to cook our veggies and the rest of the dish so that flavor will stay incorporated. Now what we're gonna do is add some veggies. We've got 1 onion, also here I have a 1/2 cup of green bell pepper and a 1/2 cup of celery. And in Cajun and Creole cooking, this is referred to as the Holy Trinity. It is similar to the French mirepoix, which is a combination of celery and onion and carrot, which is the base for so many great dishes. The difference here in a trinity is that you substitute the bell pepper for the carrot. Now also in this dish I have some scallions, and I use 2 scallions, and right now we're just going to add the light green and the white part. And we're going to saute this for maybe 8 to 10 minutes, just until all those veggies get tender. While that's going on, we're going to talk about jambalaya. There's as many recipes for jambalaya as there are people who make it. Different people choose different proteins. Most of the time there's always some sort of sausage, but some people like pork, some people like chicken, some people like shrimp. You can put whatever you want to in it. However, there's basically 2 different kinds of jambalaya. There's either a red or a brown. The red is more Creole based. It has a tomato base to it, and I've heard that referred to as a city jambalaya because you tend to find that kind in New Orleans. Now, the brown is more of a roux-based jambalaya, and you tend to find that more in the southwestern part of the state. So depending on where you go in Louisiana might determine what kind of jambalaya you have. Today, we are actually making more of a Creole-based or a city-based jambalaya. Now, let's check our veggies. I think they still need a little more time, so we're just gonna keep sauteing until they're nice and tender. Okay, as you can see, our veggies have gotten nice and tender, and now it's time to add some seasoning. We're going to start by adding a tablespoon of tomato paste. Here I have 1 teaspoon of Cajun Seasoning, which is a wonderful spice blend. Incidentally, this recipe is on my website, savortheflavors.tv, and there I will name the brand of andouille that I'm using because the seasoning for this recipe is sort of adjusted according to that sausage. Now, if you have a brand of andouille that you like, of course, feel free to use it, but you may have to adjust the seasoning. And also here I have 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme, and we're just going to cook this for a little bit. Now, when you're working with fresh thyme, you don't want to use the stems, just the leaves. And here's the best way to prepare thyme for cooking. Oh my gosh, I tell you, this is smelling so amazing. All those Cajun spices and the onions and the pepper and the celery and everything. To this now we're gonna add 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. And earlier I just put this in the food processor to puree it because I like the tomato base for this dish, but I don't particularly care for pieces of tomato in it. And now we're gonna add some rice. And here I have 3/4 cup of slow cooking rice. And this is actually a blend of white and wild. I love the wild rice in there. It's a little rustic and it's perfect for this dish. And on the recipe, of course, I will also name this particular brand. It's a favorite of mine and you may want to try it. And now lastly, some chicken stock. Here I have 2 2/3 cup of the chicken stock. And one more thing, I've got some salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt there. Now we're just going to bring this up to a pretty sturdy simmer, and then we'll reduce it Cover it and let it simmer low and slow for about 45 minutes, just until all of that liquid is taken out. As you can see, all of the liquid has been taken up, and this is starting to smell and look so good. We've got jambalaya going on here. Just a few more things we have to add. We'll add back to the pot now that andouille sausage that we cooked up earlier. And also here I have 8 ounces of cooked shredded chicken. I like to put chicken in mine. We'll just give this a stir, get it all mixed in here. And then earlier I said that we had 2 scallions, and we put the white and light green part in earlier. Now we're going to add the dark green part of the scallions that I've sliced. And we're just going to stir this and just let it heat through. Our jambalaya is done nice and steaming hot. We're going to serve it up here. I love this. I don't know, this is a great dish for just about any time, but for me, it's really kind of rainy day food. I just love stuff like this on a rainy day. Okay, look at that, so pretty. And I always like to serve it with just a few pieces of toasted French baguette. I just put a little butter on them, a little bit of salt, put them under the broiler for a few minutes, and there you have it. And we're gonna garnish with just a few extra pieces of the sliced scallion. Now, the next time you're craving comfort food with a kick, I'd love for you to savor the flavors of my jambalaya.